Diddley Squat, the farmer's dog summary in 5 minutes. Diddley Squat, the farmer's dog is a warm, humorous, and quietly touching story set against the backdrop of rural farm life. It captures the unpredictable rhythms of nature, the stubborn challenges of agriculture, and the unexpected bonds that form between humans and animals. At the center of the story is a scrappy, unconventional farm dog whose presence transforms not only the farm itself, but also the people who live and work there. The story unfolds on Diddley Squat Farm, a place known as much for its chaotic energy as for its ambitious attempts at success. The farm is run by a determined but often overwhelmed owner, alongside a small group of workers who each bring their own personality, opinions, and frustrations. Farming, as they quickly realize, is far from simple. Weather, machinery, finances, and sheer bad luck seem to conspire against them at every turn. Into this already unpredictable environment comes the dog later nicknamed the farmer's dog. At first glance, the animal seems anything but impressive. It is not particularly well trained, nor does it resemble the disciplined sheepdogs one might expect on a working farm. Instead, it is clumsy, curious, and frequently distracted, often chasing the wrong things or getting in the way of important tasks. The workers initially view the dog as more of a nuisance than a help. Yet despite its apparent lack of skill, the dog possesses an undeniable spirit. It roams the fields with boundless energy, poking its nose into every corner of the farm. Over time, its presence begins to have a subtle effect. While it may not herd sheep with precision or follow commands perfectly, it brings something else, an unfiltered enthusiasm that cuts through the daily stress of farm life. The farm itself is a constant source of tension. Crops fail unexpectedly, animals behave unpredictably, and every small victory seems hard-won. The owner, already juggling countless responsibilities, often finds himself frustrated by how little control he truly has. Farming demands patience, resilience, and a willingness to accept failure, qualities that are easier said than practiced. In this environment, the dog becomes an unlikely source of balance. When tempers rise or plans fall apart, its playful antics offer moments of relief. It reminds the people around it that not everything has to be perfect to have value. Even in failure, there can be humor, and even in chaos, there can be connection. As the story progresses, the relationship between the dog and the farm's inhabitants deepens. The owner, who initially dismissed the dog as impractical, begins to see it differently. He notices how the animal instinctively stays close during long days in the fields, how it seems to sense moods and respond with quiet companionship when things go wrong. The dog may not follow commands flawlessly, but it shows loyalty in its own unique way. There are moments when the dog unexpectedly proves its worth. It may not execute tasks with textbook precision, but it adapts, improvises, and occasionally surprises everyone with small acts of usefulness. Whether it's alerting the farmers to a problem, sticking by them during difficult tasks, or simply refusing to give up, the dog demonstrates a different kind of intelligence, one rooted in persistence rather than perfection. The story also highlights the broader reality of farming life. It portrays the physical demands, the financial risks, and the emotional toll that come with working the land. Through both setbacks and small triumphs, the farm becomes a symbol of resilience. It is a place where success is never guaranteed, and where effort does not always lead to immediate reward. Within this context, the dog's presence takes on deeper meaning. It becomes a symbol of adaptability and acceptance. Unlike humans, who often struggle with frustration and expectations, the dog lives entirely in the present moment. It does not dwell on past mistakes or worry about future outcomes. It simply engages with whatever is in front of it, with curiosity and determination. This perspective gradually influences the people around it. The owner and his team begin to shift their mindset, learning to appreciate the process rather than focusing solely on results. They start to recognize that farming, like life, is not about achieving perfection but about enduring through uncertainty and finding moments of joy along the way. By the latter part of the story, the dog has become an integral part of the farm. It is no longer seen as an outsider or a burden, but as a companion whose presence enriches the daily experience. Its quirks, once considered flaws, are now embraced as part of its charm. The farm, too, begins to feel less like a battleground against nature and more like a shared space where humans and animals coexist. The emotional core of the story lies in this transformation, not just of the dog, but of the people who learn from it. The farmer's dog teaches them that value is not always measured by efficiency or skill. Sometimes, it is found in loyalty, in resilience, and in the ability to bring lightness to difficult moments. In the end, Diddley Squat, the farmer's dog, is more than just a story about farming or a misfit animal. It is a reflection on how unexpected influences can change our perspective. It reminds us that even in the most challenging environments, connection and humor can thrive. And it shows that sometimes, the most important lessons come from the most unlikely teachers.